Because it's dumb. Okay, no, seriously. Obligatory hi, my name is Hex out of the way. Let's talk about the current state of Roxanne. So if you've been living under a rock, Roxanne, Security Breach Ruin released. And if you didn't know that, you probably missed Ruin's horrible ending. Let me summarize the ending for you real quick. After letting Gregory out, Cassie gets saved by Roxanne from the definitely Gregory bot and fights with him. I don't know how, considering she has no eyes, but who cares? The Mimic fights back, cue cage match. We hear some distant voice lines, the Mimic walks out alone, cue chase sequence. Cut to elevator, the real Gregory, who is not the Mimic, definitely kills us by dropping the elevator. Roll credits. Unless you're me, then wait at a black screen. 3 minutes later...
Cassie.
Wait, really? So, who else is miserable? Ruin's ending was... sour? Cruel? What's the right word? Harsh? Let's go with harsh. Ignoring the glaring issue of how Roxanne found Cassie in the sinkhole in a cave system without eyesight, let's talk about the other thing people have been talking about. Roxanne's permanent death. There's a popular theory going around right now about the end sequence. Basically, the Mimic during the fight with Roxanne starts doing the thing that the Mimic does best, which is mimic. So he plays a few Roxanne voice lines like a jukebox.
You need to get out of there now!
Then Roxanne is all like, "You gotta be joking me," gasps very loudly,
My friend has
and then dies.
access to the building now!
Very tragic. And then the Mimic tromps on without a single care in the world. Then after the thrilling chase sequence, we get to the elevator where the Mimic cuts Gregory off mid-sentence just to make Cassie think that Gregory is evil. How mischievous of him, honestly. So glad he did that. It doesn't irritate me at all. And then after all of that, after all those steps, after the elevator falls and supposedly kills Cassie, the Mimic says her name in Roxanne's voice to try to persuade Cassie to be evil or whatever. And then roll credits. Oh wait, no, that already happened. Roll title screen. So, everyone excited for what happens next? Can I just, say, I don't like having strong opinions. I feel they're too constrictive and prevent me from having an open mind. But holy hell do I not like the Mimic! You know what really lets the air out of your big finale cliffhanger? The fact that it's not even a cliffhanger. I think if the credits ended and Steel Wolf put in a shrug emoji at the end, I think that would have been more of a cliffhanger. Because you know what's not fun? Having characters that can do a lot of Can the Mimic crush iron bars? Yeah, of course, he's a super endo. Fair enough, let him be that. Can the Mimic do people's voices? Yeah, he can, he's programmed to do so. That's fun, I guess. Can the Mimic change appearances? Yes, he sure can! The final voice line isn't even a cliffhanger, it's a Christmas present. A Christmas present that we can't open until the magical morning on the 25th, where we get to find out if we got Roxanne or Cole. It's like when the trailer for Ruin first dropped. Everyone heard Gregory's voice, said, "That's Cap, it's the Mimic imitating his voice," and then we got to open the present and discovered that, yes, it was the Mimic. I mean, it was cool, but they could have tried a little harder to hide it throughout the game.
Deactivate her and save me. Save me, Cassie, please.
And now we have the whole Roxanne voice line thing. Like, are we seriously going to go through this whole thing again? So that's why, to me, the Mimic is actually a super lame character and villain. Not to mention that he might have total control over the Pizzaplex. He's now taken away the "oh shit" moment. He did it with Gregory. He can't do it again with Roxanne. It's just lame at that point. What could be a "yes! Roxanne survived!" has now become a "ugh, what's the point? It's probably just the Mimic." By making the final moments of Ruin be the Mimic imitating Roxanne, it completely devalues the entire buildup of the Mimic throughout Ruin by trying to go through the whole fake voice trickery thing again. It's just the same thing twice. Why would they do that? And that's why I don't think it's the Mimic. Also, hi everyone in 1 to 2 years whenever the DLC or the next game comes out. I hope this ages well. If the final moments of Ruin's probable canon ending are just filled with hollow words, what else is there to do? Why did we just do all of that? We went through the whole Gregory tricking us thing just for them to do it again? Where does it go from here? What is legitimately the point? The answer is, there is no point. There would be no point in the mimic trying to emulate Roxanne's voice for the ending. Look at it this way. Less than 2 minutes ago, the mimic was fully ready to tear Cassie's face off. Bro was coming at her full sprint, claws ready. Then she locked him out of an elevator, so now he got cold feet and wants to hide behind the radio again? Trying to pretend to be Roxanne? No, there'd be no point to it. Cassie is completely useless to the mimic. She fulfilled her task. She freed him from Mr. Man and she freed him from the concrete. She did her job, and the mimic no longer needs her. He's free. There's no point in trying to trick her again. So that's why, from a narrative standpoint, and from the mimic's standpoint, it would make a whole lot more sense if that was actual Roxanne at the end of Ruin. The mimic has moved on. He's out of there. That was his one goal. Use Cassie to disable Nexus, break down the door, yeet out. But Roxanne is still alive because of determination or something. I don't know, she survived a go-kart hitting her most sensitive area. I'm sure she can take a few punches from the mimic. So she finds Cassie, saves her, somehow, and bam! Narrative story continues. You got the mimic at large, he's already out of there, you got the stragglers still in the hole, and then you got Gregory and Vanessa wherever they are. So from the perspective of telling a story, it makes perfect sense for that to be Roxanne at the end of Ruin. After all, we're supposed to be the good guys. And even though this is FNAF, where bullshit happens, and the lines of good and bad definitely get blurred, the good guys mostly win. Now there is one big point that I'm sure everyone is probably screaming about. What about the Cassie is the new Vanny thing? Cassie wears the mask, she will turn into Vanny and become the new villain. Right? After all, the mask has that ability. Right? Now, I'm not the biggest lore expert here. Good God, I've barely played any of the games even. So I'm just gonna be going off what I've heard from everyone. Vanny was evil because of Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap was embedded inside of Princess Quest. Princess Quest got exploded on, killing Glitch Trap. Glitch Trap is the essential part to make someone into a Vanny. But without Glitch Trap, how can they turn into a Vanny? The Mimic may be a box full of bullshit, but I know he isn't Glitch Trap. And I know he cannot straight up alter people's minds. After all, if he could control people like Glitch Trap could, why doesn't he just have Cassie free him? There's no need to keep up the Gregory ruse if you could have Cassie under full control. I know Glitch Trap doesn't immediately latch onto people, but Cassie got a chip in her brain. I think you'd have enough time to slow cook her. And we can tell Cassie isn't mind-controlled throughout the game. That much is clear from the pure emotion we get from Cassie after deactivating Roxanne's node. Cassie is devastated over it. She cries for like 2 straight minutes. Doesn't really seem like behavior of a soulless puppet, or someone with little to no remorse. And for a possible next DLC, or some kind of follow-up game to Ruin, it would make a lot more sense to have Roxanne around if Cassie is going to be our main protagonist for it. And it would make a lot less sense if Roxanne is permanently dead and the Mimic is just doing Roxanne's voice pointlessly. But you're probably asking yourself, if it doesn't make sense to have the Mimic mimicking Roxanne, why does it make sense to keep Roxanne alive? Well, if we don't have Roxanne, what's gonna keep Cassie going? What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. Throughout almost every single FNAF game, from Sister Location to Ruin, you've had someone guiding you from beginning to end. In Sister Location, you had Baby guiding you throughout the game, leading you to that fun little ice cream machine. Look at how fun it is! In FNAF 6, or Pizzeria Simulator, you had the voice recordings and announcer guy goading you on to salvage the animatronics. And even though the game gives you a choice to not salvage them, if you don't salvage them, you get told,
"Don't forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place."
Basically forcing you to do what they say. In Ultimate Custom Night, you had Toy Chica. It was Toy Chica all along! In Help Wanted, you had Tape Woman, guiding you to gather the tapes up and figure out the lore. Which, we all know how that turned out. In Security Breach, you had Freddy, basically telling you exactly what to do at all times. Every mission, every ending, all of them were guided by Freddy. Sure, Gregory did some stuff on his own, but throughout almost the entire game, it was Freddy guiding you through exactly what to do. And in Ruin, literally throughout the entire game, you have Gliggly. Gliggly? You have Gregory blabbing from the Roxy Talkie, and even in your mask, He'll sometimes chime in, saying stuff like, "I'm lonely. You're going the wrong way. Keep going. You're almost there." Basically guiding you to your death. So, for our next adventure in FNAF, it just wouldn't make sense to have Cassie solo it. And it would make even less sense to have the Mimic guide us again. I mean, we just did that. It just doesn't make sense from the narrative of FNAF. Why would they do the same thing twice? And that's why I think Roxanne is still alive and will be Cassie's guide throughout her next adventure, in whatever form that may be. Now, I don't want to end this video off without saying, this is all based off the assumption that the next FNAF game will follow immediately after Ruin's events. Cassie and Roxanne are still in the sinkhole, the Mimic is freshly escaped, and Gregory is still confused about what's going on. If the next FNAF game takes place from Gregory's, or a different character's perspective, or a few years later, or just some random other place completely, it's entirely possible that all this could be pointless. But I do have some belief that we're picking up where Ruin left off. Otherwise, the whole Cassie line from Roxanne at the very end is just completely pointless. Like, why would they put that in there? For fun? I don't think so. In a franchise like FNAF, they don't just do things for fun. A post-credits voice line of a character's name is big. We just don't know how big it is yet. But that's everything I have for right now. And I feel like it wouldn't be proper if I didn't end it with, "But hey, that's just a theory again." Okay, I'm not gonna do the bit. Just cut that out. Hey man, this is like the first theory I've ever made on FNAF. I had to end it with that line. Of course, if you think it's the Mimic doing the Cassie line, tell me in the comments. And make sure to explain why you think it's the Mimic. Or if you think I'm right, let me know. I love self-affirmation. If I get enough people telling me I'm wrong in the comments, I'll make a follow-up video to this one, telling you all that I'm still right. Make sure to like and subscribe if you too want to be updated the next time Roxanne Wolf picks her nose. I promise the big Ruin video is coming out soon. I just keep getting sidetracked by these Roxanne videos. Okay, bye!